My name's James Cope and I'm producer for Ruffian Games. So today we're showing X10 Crackdown 2, and the main thing we're focusing on today is really the kind of main primary objectives of the game. It's showing you a little bit of the mission structure and something we call Project Sunburst. And Project Sunburst is really like the main objective in Crackdown 2. It's to assemble a giant energy weapon in order to destroy the freaks and rescue Pacific City once for all. For example, that repetitive structure in Crackdown, the great thing about Project Sunburst is that because it's like a network of energy devices, we can have different objectives scattered around the world, and it gives us a way of having more variety of objectives. So, there's attack, defense, capture, destroy mechanics in there. So rather than just finding 21 bosses, it's about kind of assembling this network, and there's many different ways that you have to find those network nodes and put them together, and that gives us much more freedom within in which to work, whilst also having that same kind of completely open-ended, free-form experience. Approach any part of Project Sunburst in any order, and discover absorption units, assemble them, and make sure that this energy weapon is online effectively. Set pieces are quite hard to do in an open-world game. I mean, a major focus for us is that we stay completely freeform. We want players to engage in it in a way that means they can go any mission at any time, sort of thing. So you get set pieces of objectives, but you don't get massive scripted events where you're fighting against kind of certain things. But what we're doing in Project Sunburst is that freak layers that exist underground, you have to assemble a part of the energy network in order to deliver a beacon, which is a bomb to destroy freaks. So that's a nice set piece in terms of its kind of gameplay objective, but it's not like this big scripted event where you're fighting against all these things in a set order. You can't do that in an open world game, but we have these nice areas in which you have to do certain things and in certain ways. So if you consider those as a scripted event, then yeah. We wanted to tell a bit of a story with Pacific City. I mean, it was one of the characters in the first game, really, because we don't have that kind of identifiable player character. And Pacific City, 10 years later, has evolved. We've kind of kept the same kind of road network, so people will remember places, but the entire world has changed. You've had regrowth after saving the city from the gangs in the first game. So you've got great big new skyscrapers, you've got new buildings, new places to explore. You've got the freaks underground, so you go down below ground and you explore down there. That's a new environment. And then above ground, you've had this kind of civil war outbreak, the cell of destroyed buildings, the freaks have destroyed buildings. So effectively, we want to create this sense of deja vu of someone going back to a city they once knew, but it's all changed and all gone wrong. And that sense of I want to rescue this, from the mess it's in. So Pacific City is, as people I hope will recognise it, but not recognise it. We were aware of it. I mean, everyone's doing that. I mean, from a video game point of view, it's a great way of having loads of cannon fodder. I mean, we really wanted to have this sense where you've got thousands of enemies on the streets, and you've just it's a mindless excuse for killing lots of things and blowing lots of things up. So from that point of view, they're handy. But the other thing as well is that they were part of the first game. The actions that led to the freak virus in Crackdown 2 was something that the player instigated in the first game by releasing these freaks onto the streets. So for us, it was continuity, but we did look at it and go, everyone's doing zombies, but to hell with it, we want to blow stuff up, it'll be alright. We always talk about Crackdown and the Crackdown environment as, whether it's the first game or the second game, it's a toy box. There's an excuse to play in this playground, you've got a set of toys to play with. And so, all that incidental stuff about having missions and all that kind of stuff, to a lot of people it doesn't really matter. It's about playing with the things you find. And so, there's new kind of ways of playing with enemies, new melee combat, new gadgets like mags, new kinds of rocket launchers, new weapons, new vehicles, helicopters, new abilities, the wingsuit. So, there's a lot more to play with, but it's the same experience for the player in terms of how am I going to play with these, and it's down to their imagination, and I think that's the real beauty of the game. It's letting players have that power of decision. One of the beauties of Crackdown is that it's a completely free-form experience, and we wanted to have that in co-op game. No one really has done that yet. Co-op games to date have all been about channeling people down a linear path, but what we've done is said well, no, we want a new experience. We want players to have that if they want to play like that, but also there's the option of playing completely separately towards a common objective. 4 different corners of the world, 4 different players all working to a common goal. Chatting over live. That's a really nice sense of togetherness and a nice sense of play, but in this world where you get to choose how you do it. So yeah, I mean, we thought about that, but no, that's not Crackdown. Crackdown is let the player decide. So that's what we did. There's team-based competitive online modes, very simple, like team deathmatch. You know, it's competitive team versus team stuff. You know, also Rocket Tag is kind of like a many versus one team mode, and you know that's really exciting and has worked well for us in 16 player. You know, it was a mini game mode in Crackdown that we always felt would work well online, you know, with more players, and we're glad that it's turned out that way. So it's like that kind of mini gamey kind of stuff is carried through in Crackdown 2, and you know, it's just really great to have that kind of real sense of skirmish mode in the game, and having that Crackdown experience where you're up high jumping around stuff, and you know you're also trying to kill everyone. You know, it works well. You know, it's an action game, and it's nice and satisfying.